Hello and welcome to today's embodiment practice. Today we're doing somatic asana, and um, the theme we're going to work with today is inspired by a lively online discussion we were having about what makes a yoga practice tantric, or can you even have a tantric asana practice? Is asana or are asanas found in the scriptures, the tantric scriptures, and it was a lively discussion, lots of disagreements and controversies, and so I would just say that rather than calling the practice tantric, say that it's informed by the view of tantra. And that's how I am teaching. I think I'm teaching from the view of tantra. These are definitely not traditional practices in the sense of coming from the scriptures of tantra or anything like that, but we're definitely using the view and the philosophy and using yoga in a way that what I hope is different from your kind of standard asana class where you're maybe having some inspirational quotes and thoughts or, you know, just doing a sequence of asanas towards a peak pose. That's not what we're doing here. So what we'll be using are these two today, just sticking with two ideas. And one is the practice of being with what is, being with whatever's arising. And the other is to allow something other than your mind to move your body. And that's always a practice, right? Because our mind, just like in seated meditation, the mind is always coming up and wanting to get involved. And this is just a practice of going below that or underneath that, or however you kind of feel that in your body, but going to something other than the mind for inspiration in movement. Okay, so we are going to start with a meditation and we'll start our playlist first. So you can get ready to hit play here once we count down. 3, 2, 1, play. Right. And then you can find your comfortable seat. Any way you want to sit is perfect. You can lay down, you can sit in a chair. I like to sit kneeling for longer meditations, but this one will be about 5 minutes. And first, just breathing. Breathing and feeling. And the way I like to invoke the experience of being with what is something I learned from Adyashanti. And just using this phrase to imagine. So you don't need to try to make anything happen. You don't even need to ask yourself to be okay with what is. You just imagine, what would it feel like if I were to allow everything to be just as it is? What might that feel like? And you can just let your jaw relax, let your face relax, and keep applying that prompt each time a thought arises. Maybe things arise that, oh, maybe I'm not okay with that as it is. And then you just, what would it feel like if I was? And then you focus on the sensation that arises. without trying to change anything, because we're also being okay with not being okay, right? It's all encompassing. What would it feel like if I were to allow everything to be just as it already is? And then just letting that go and just sitting. And we can start to shift into our movement practice. This first song being entirely for you. We kind of throw out all of our themes, all of our intentions, and just allow yourself to come into your own practice. And so I'll do the same. You don't need to be looking at me. You can have your eyes closed. But if you do happen to glance at me, I'm not demonstrating anything specific. I'm just doing what you're doing, which is listening to my body, following the inner impulse. You can also make sounds. I really like using the voice to move energy sometimes. right, and then the next thing will be a standing forward bend. So just let your body carry you to that in its own time. And just find out how your body organizes itself into a forward bend. There could be some movement getting there. And let's all start for the beginning. Once you're in the forward bend, start with the knees bent a lot so that your chest lays down over your thighs. Your torso lays down over your thighs or close to it. For some of us, it's easier than for others. Let your neck relax, let your arms relax, and it's almost like a squat too if your knees have to bend a lot. For me, that feels like a kind of a good squat as well as a release of the whole spine. So you can maybe wrap the hands around the backs of the legs or the feet. Let the neck relax. And then after you get that good spinal extension, you can choose if you want to straighten the legs or maybe just bend them less or stay in the deep bend. Just let yourself explore here. It might be exploring stillness, maybe exploring the breath, the movement of your awareness. Or maybe the body is moving through the forward bend. Notice all the sensations that arise. Maybe some sensations you move towards, some sensations, there may be an inclination to avoid them. Just notice. And the next one is a malasana. We're going to do it differently than how I normally teach it. So the feet will actually come together for this one. But of course, you can choose any malasana that makes you happy, any squat that makes you happy. If you want to try this different one today, it could be interesting. The feet come together, bend your knees, and bring the hands out farther in front. And then just sink down, hips towards the heels. And this one can be harder for a lot of us if you've got some knee issues, so feel free to do another version of a squat. The feet are close together, probably touching. Heels are lifting up off the ground, but they're kind of reaching down towards the ground. And reach your arms out front, and it can give just a really nice extension to the spine again. Let the neck relax. And let yourself find your way with this. The hips can shift side to side. See what other movements you can invite within the pose, explore. And you can always use that same prompt we used in the beginning, which is, what does it feel like? What would it feel like to allow everything to be as it is? Okay, so you can stay with that one as long as you like. The next is Baddha Konasana, sitting back. Soles of the feet together. And you can bring them close in or have them far out, however you like. And then just start to fold forward. Letting your body move from a place that's deeper than your mind, or just other than your mind, right? It doesn't have to be deeper. Could be deeper, could be higher, could be just a different place than your mind. Tune into the physical sensations in your body or the energy in your body, however you think about it. Tune into the visceral experience and let that move your body. It can be little subtle movements, it can be moving you into stillness. And we'll be working our way onto our knees. Take your time. And once you can come up onto hands and knees actually, because we'll cross the shins. We'll cross one shin on top of the other calf, so that when you sit back, your shin is giving some deep massage, maybe deep trigger point onto the other calf. And so you can really adjust this so that it's not hurting you. But if you like deep tissue, it might feel good. And so for me, if I used to be able to do it where I could just sit back and kind of lift my hands up. Right now that feels like too much. So I have my hands taking some of my body weight, but I am letting some of the weight rest through that shin and onto the opposite calf. And it can be a little bit of rocking. And you can also adjust so that you get all parts of the calf. So maybe a couple breaths in one spot and then shift to move the shin bone down to another spot on the back of your lower leg. What if I were to allow everything to be exactly as it is, including any resistance, any impulse? You can switch to the other side. Maybe you already have. You just lean forward, change the cross of the shins. And can you hold those both together, both allowing everything to be and also moving from something other than the mind? So allowing everything to be does not have to be a passive, inert state. It's also allowing the movement of energy, allowing your desires. All right, I think we may have done that side a little shorter, but that's okay. You can stay with it longer. And I'll just tell you what's next. So you're kneeling, and we come and bring the head down, top of the head down on the ground, just as close as you can get to your knees. Interlace the hands behind. It's a little bit of a neck stretch, or maybe it's a lot of a neck stretch. So just be as gentle as you need to be with this. Kind of rolling onto the top of the head, chin tucked under, arms reaching up and back. It's more of a bind, getting yourself into like a body mudra. And using the position, the asana, as your inquiry. And you can always come out of it and rest and come back to it when you're ready. maybe after that one, giving a moment of total freedom once you release that to see where the energy moves your body. Eventually making your way onto your back. And you can hug the knees, rock a little bit, just move around. And then from here we'll drop one foot to the ground, one foot on the floor, knee bent, and the other foot comes up, half happy baby. So you're holding onto your foot. Foot is above the knee. Just because that's the easiest way to kind of have that position to get the knee down. But it doesn't have to be directly over the knee or anything, just in that general area. And then what kind of movement can you allow here? You can stay there a little longer, or when you're ready, straighten that leg out to the side. So we're getting a stretch through the inner thigh. Maybe you continue to hold on to the foot. Maybe you hold on to the calf or the back of the knee. And then going to the other side. Start with the half happy baby. And you do this side in whatever timing feels good to you. So you can go straight to the straightening the leg as soon as you want, or stay with this longer. Feeling the freedom to move your body in and out of the pose, to modify. And then when you choose to release that, just take a moment of stillness, any position on the floor. And then eagle twist. So let's cross the right leg over the left. And there, it's kind of a close cross, so your right thigh's on top of the left thigh. If you can wrap your toe around the other ankle, then that's fine. Gives you a good little bind, and then we're dropping over to the right. Legs drop over to the right. Left arm stretching back behind you. And use your breath here to explore the pose. Find as you breathe into the rib cage what changes, what moves. And letting any subtle movements occur. Maybe sometimes they come from the mind. You have an idea about how to move. And you just notice that when it occurs. And you also invite the non-verbal parts of you to move the body. Can go to the other side. When you're ready, left thigh crosses over the right. Maybe we get the toe wrap. And this time the legs drop over to the left. Right arm reaches out, back behind you. And deep breaths. Let your jaw soften. Slow the breath down through the nose. Okay, and then coming out of that, unwinding. Okay, and from seated, take Janu Shirsasana. Straighten the right leg and bend the left knee. Yeah, I'm always ahead of you. You let your body bring you. Right leg straight, left knee bent. And as we fold forward over the leg, take it as a bit of a twist. So the left hand crosses over and you can have the right hand out. So you're twisting your chest to the right. Feeling that extension along the left side, left ribs, left waist and shoulder. and explore through this. You might even, once you, now you know where you're going, you can even come back out and enter again. And that could happen many times in every pose, kind of a pulsation. What would it feel like to allow everything to be just as it is, changing sides when you want to? Allow all my thoughts to be, all my reactions, anything I perceive as a blockage. Okay, and now we have halasana. So you can just listen to my voice and let your body work its way out of that. I like to use a little prop for my feet. And if you have any major neck issues, then just choose a forward bend instead, because I'm going to roll up and over and my feet will come onto that bolster there. Some of you will be able to reach the floor. That's totally fine. If you want, you can interlace your hands, press them down towards the ground, reach through the heels, kind of work the shoulders under, and just listen. If you feel any tweakiness in the neck and the back, not worth it. You can also do it for a few breaths, release and then come back. Just coming out of that pose gently. Letting your body unwind in whatever way it does. Maybe moving the spine around the neck. The next offering is shoulder stand. And if you know shoulder stand, then you can use your favorite alignment for that. The neck should be pretty stretched out from that one we just did. And if you didn't do that for neck reasons, then you can just do hips on a block. This is a really good way to get some inversion benefit without any danger to your neck. You just put the hips on a block or a bolster and put your feet up in the air. So I really do recommend that one. Or you can come up into half shoulder stand, use a little momentum to get the feet up, let the hips rest in the hands. Or the one that is the most challenging on the neck is to come up vertical. And so you only do that if the previous one, halasana, felt good. And you can let the legs play here. Either keeping them quite vertical for that reverse blood flow or moving them around. This pose does not increase blood flow to the head, by the way. Your body has ways of making sure that doesn't happen because it's not good actually. But it does help the venous return. It helps to kind of flush some of the blood out of the legs. And you can stay up the whole time, or you can come down and rest and go up a second time. And if you're still in shoulder stand, maybe allow the legs to come into a straddle, opening up the inner thighs, reaching out through the feet. And then we'll slowly release down. can have the knees bent, the feet on the floor, and just let the knees drop from one side to the other, twisting a little bit. And just let your body move in any way here. Twisting can be a really good feeling after those kind of inversions. But anything else your body wants to do before our final rest. Even coming back to that eagle twist. And just learning to trust your body. You don't have to wait for me to tell you to change sides. Letting movement arise from the depths. And then you're moving towards a resting position. This could be seated in meditation. There could be one last pose you want to do before you totally relax. But just eventually finding a place where you feel comfortable. Letting go of your efforts. Releasing all of your intentions. And yet at the same time, letting your body receive the sounds, almost as if the sounds themselves could work on your body. So just allowing your breath to deepen. Maybe touching your own body. I like to give some pressure, some compression. Allow your eyes to open and look around. If you want to sit up, you can, but you can also continue resting for a while if you like. I enjoyed that practice very much in my body, so thank you for the opportunity to do that with you. Hope you have a wonderful day, evening. Namaste.